So why is ad revenue so low in 2023? So there's no denying ad revenue on our blogs is down in 2023. The first quarter of this year has been over 31% worse than it was for me in 2022. Now, I've been asked a lot of questions recently, why is this and what can we do to improve that? So I've done a bit of digging around for you, I've asked some experts in the industry, and hopefully I've got some answers to all your questions. So first thing, why is ad revenue so low? There's a number of factors that are contributing to this, and the three main reasons are: number one, the economic downturn. Now, we all know that the country or the world is in a little bit of crisis financially, and there's a lot of uncertainty in the marketplace. Now, that is due to facts like COVID. It's also due to facts that we are having wars, and there is uncertainty around the world, and a lot of companies are not spending their money right now. They're holding on to their money because they're just uncertain what the future might bring. So currently at the moment, a lot of these companies are holding on to the purse strings and they are not spending as much as they did in 2022. The second reason is supply and demand, which basically means there is more ad placements available than advertisers are willing to fill. Now, I tried thinking of an analogy to make this in more simple layman's terms, and I came up with this one. You can see behind me a football stadium. Now, imagine you go to a football stadium, you follow your local team, and there is a certain amount of seats in that stadium. When there's a really big important match, those seats are usually filled, and the ones that are available are sold at a premium price. The big matches always fetch the bigger prices. However, when the club's not doing very well and there's loads of seats available, those seats are often reduced in price, and there's more seats available than the stadium can fill. And it's exactly the same with ad placements. If advertisers are not willing to spend their money right now, there is a surplus of ad spaces available. So to try and fill those, the ad providers reduce the cost of that ad placement. Basically, they devalue those ads to attract advertisers to fill those ad spaces on your websites. Now, advertisers will know that if there's a surplus of these spaces, they will get them at a reduced rate, and that's why your ad revenue, the amount of money you get paid per 1,000 views on your website, is reduced. And number three, a change in privacy regulations. Companies like Apple and Google have now become a lot stricter on being able to track users on the internet. So it is more difficult for an advertiser to actually target the right people with their ads. And if they can't target the right people with their ads, they're going to pay more money for less return. So their ROI, their return on their advertising spend, is less. And therefore it has scared a few advertisers into actually increasing their spending budgets because they can't actually reach the right people. And again, that has reduced the value of those ad impressions and reduced the revenue that you will receive. So that's three reasons why your ad revenue is lower than last year, and it can vary from niche to niche, from website to website. Every website is different. What you might earn for, let's say, a pet website might be different from what somebody else earns from a pet website. You cannot compare two websites, you can only compare the industry as a whole. So what are some of the things you can do to improve your ad revenue? Well, number one, content is king. It still remains a fact that content is still the biggest driver of ad revenue. The more content you put on your site, the more ad placements that are available, the more ad revenue you will earn. It's a simple maths equation, and it is still true to this day, no matter what is going on in the industry. And number two, quality counts. Advertisers will still look for quality pieces of content. If they see ad placements on an article that is a high value article, it gets lots of traffic, it talks about topics and subjects that are worth more in the industry to them, they will pay more for those ad placements. And again, a quick analogy, if your article was about the top 10 most expensive luxury cars, an advertiser is willing to pay a premium for that ad placement versus a top 10 dog lead article where the value of those products that you're talking about is lower. So the more premium and the more quality content you can produce, the better ad rates you will receive. Now you can spend all the time you want trying to manipulate your blog posts so you can position more ads. You can test around the size of the ads, the different shapes, the different formats, the different layouts, but at the end of the day, if you spend too much time doing that, you just will not produce content. And like I say, content is what will drive your revenue higher. And number 3, my last tip for how you can improve your ad revenue this year is look at video format. Yep, you can now put ads inside videos, you can even put ads inside images. There are lots of different formats out there. Many people just stick to the simple written blog post, but you can now diversify your ad revenue income by using videos. It's one thing that I'm doing, and I'm definitely seeing an upward trend in my ad revenue now that I'm branching out into more video content. I still write blog posts, but I combine the two together to maximize my ad revenue on my website. So to wrap up, you will still see some fluctuation in ad revenues throughout the next few months, maybe even towards the end of the year. I do expect ad revenue to start to pick up as we get into Q2, 3 and 4. Obviously Q4 is always the better month, but I think we're not going to see the highlights that we did in Q4 like we did in 2021, 2022, where we saw incredible ad revenues in Q4. I do think we'll see an improvement over what we have now, but for the next 9 months, while the world economy balances out, settles down, I do think we will still see lower ad revenues. But like I say, there are things you can do to improve it, and definitely there's some small signs of improvement. So I hope you enjoyed that, just a bit of information why your ad revenue may be low in 2023 compared to 2022. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next video.